All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is Wednesday, June the 1st, 2016. And the title of tonight's webinar is Using Object Trader T and B buttons to maximize profits. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading rooms, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading rooms or anything else with Viper Trading System should ever be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, I don't see any. Hey, Indrajit, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, David, welcome. And of course, everybody else that's coming in the room here, I see some people just now chiming in. They probably like to skip the disclaimer, and I don't blame them. I'd skip it too if I could. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. Bear with me a second. You should be able to see the standard disclaimer on the screen. Now, for anybody that's basically been invited this week for like a trial that we're kind of given basically an open house room, I did update some webinars. Now, these won't stay on this site forever, so be sure and watch them, okay? The most important one to watch is training on all Viper indicators and Object Trader. That's a 2-hour webinar, but it'll teach you a lot. And then we do have uploaded last week's 521 and a few others over here on the second page. So you're welcome to watch these. They'll be up for probably through Saturday. Okay? So anyway, you just simply get to those on our webinar link. Now our members know they can get into all of them by just simply logging into their member area. Okay. Didn't get a chance to see everybody doing A-okay today? Man, can you believe this year is going this fast? June the 1st, 2016? Wow. Tomorrow's my anniversary. June 2nd, 44 years ago, I walked down the aisle and married that woman of my dreams. Still is. I think she always will be. All right. Well, anyway, enough about me. Let's go ahead and get started here, okay? Bear with me a second, and I will show you a chart. We're going to do it a little bit different tonight, too, because I want to show you how actually you can tell what's going on in your charts and actually use Object Trader to pretty much get in and out of trades. And I'm going to actually try this. Now, I don't know if I'll be totally successful at this, but I'm going to try this with a blank chart. I want to show you, and then we're going to talk about the T and B buttons on Object Trader, okay? Now, first off, I've got to know about where the prices are on this chart. Now, would everybody say, by looking at this chart, just a blank chart, that this trend is up or down? What do you think? What does everybody think on the, yeah, sure it's down, right? I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that this chart is down. As a matter of fact, if you simply drew it from up at this high level right here and clicked your control key for lightning, that's pretty much downtrend. I mean, if you were walking down a set of stairs, if they were like this, wouldn't you say that was heading down? Absolutely, right? Now, it doesn't mean they can't take out these little swings, especially, see, when they barely take out this low here. They can take these out, but more than likely, they'll at least hit their head by the time they even get here, okay? So as long as it doesn't take out this swing right here, it's still a downtrend as far as this is concerned right now. Okay. Now, if it does start stepping up and we start getting higher lows, we would be obviously, and higher highs, by the way, which you're not getting, we would be looking for a different type of trade. But let's go ahead and see where this is at. I'm going to see if I can actually do something like this and see if we can get a trade. Now, with lightning, you know that the price could still be all the way down here. It could be all the way up here. We don't know yet because, you know, lightning draws after it makes a swing. So I'm going to just try something just to show you, and I hope it works out, but the way I'm seeing this chart right now, I think it will. Let me just show you something here. I'm going to draw a box. I'm not looking for longs, obviously, right? So I'm going to turn that off. Okay, we don't want our longs on because guess what? It's more than likely not going to head up. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply see if I can make like, I don't know, $300. You want to try that? This has no prices on it, but the prices are there for anybody that's been to my webinars within the past several months. You're seeing a black screen, Indrajit, because what I'm showing you here is actually a live chart, but the prices are gone because what I did is I simply changed my data series to all transparent, but they're there. But what I want to show you is how powerful this tool can be for your arsenal. It's really cool, okay? Now, everybody knows by the way this is doing right here that we're not really looking for trades to the upside, right? Okay, so we would obviously turn on our object trader, and I'm going to do more of a breakout trade if it happens to take this out, because I don't know where these prices are, you know, because I've got them blanked out. But I do know that I've got a swing here. I've got a swing up here. Okay, it looks like it came up to 09 right here, right there at that peak. And you know, our price could be right here right now, but what if it's not? I might miss it. I'm going to just try it right here and just see if I can get even down to 75 if it breaks. You want to see if it'll work? Let's just try it and see. I've got this on market replay. I like to do this on Wednesday nights because you can clearly show what's going on with charts. Let's see if we get anything here real quick. You won't see anything until it actually makes a swing. Okay, because even though the prices are moving right now, you won't see it until it actually makes another swing, either to the downside or possibly even to the upside. And right now, it's pretty much the middle of the night. I just picked a place on the chart that I hadn't traded so I could just try something here. And bear with it just a second and see if we can get something here. Give it just a minute. Okay, we don't know where the prices are, do we? But we know we've got a swing right here. I'm just going to try this and see if I can get an actual close of the bar below this little swing here and fire a trade. Or we may be missing it. It may be going up, but it doesn't look like it because it would have already taken this out, I would assume. Now I wonder if this will actually fire though. It did. It sure did. Okay, I was making sure it fires with no prices on the chart. Okay, we just fired a trade. Now look at lightning. See, it's following now because it took out the swing. We're back in the box a little bit. We're up 60. We're up 90. We're only going to try to get literally these 15 ticks because I've got 3 contracts on and all I've got is profit targets for 15 ticks. Let's see if we can get it just for the fun of it. And then I want to show you how powerful that box can actually be in your trading. And by the way, we could go ahead if you wanted to and reposition the box, because if it was to take out this part like right up here, I'd probably flip it. So we could always turn on reverse and turn on long if it does get up there. But right now we're just hovering around 0. Let's just see if for the fun of it I can make $300 on this trade or close to it just by diagnosing my chart. And look at that. Now that's pretty amazing, isn't it? And it may go down further, right? Okay, now let me ask you a question. Where's the next trade on this chart the way I teach it? I can see it. I know y'all can too. Didn't it break below this support right here? Don't we feel that more than likely it'll come back into this area right here and give us a trade? You want to try it for the fun of it? It's going to be short. This is using the box for the top, and I'm going to be shorting this if the price comes up to this 75, and we're going to give it like 3 ticks because we don't know where the prices are. I normally do 2 ticks, but I'm going to give it, I think I'll even give it 4 just for the fun of it, because we don't know where these prices are right now because they're blanked out of the chart. But I want to just see if I can get this trade. I'm going to turn that on, and then I'm going to see if it'll retrace or if we just happen to not get a trade. It may just keep going down, but how many times have I said when they break down, they're going to come back and they're going to kiss resistance? You can pretty much count on it coming back and kissing resistance. Watch and see if it does. This is the first time I've ever in my life traded blindfolded, but let's see what it does. Okay, we know we got a little thrust below support, right? We figure it's going to come back up and test. Once it does the thrust, we wait on the retrace. And you can clearly see lightning is also right here, right? So we'll see if we can get back up there. And we may not. We may not get it at this time. We'll find out. We'll just see if it does. It may go down quite a bit before it gets back up there, right? But let's see if we can get it. Just the way I teach this. I want to see if I can get this trade right here. I'll speed it up a little bit so we can, hopefully I don't lose the trade by doing that, but let's see if we can get it. It's moving. Think we can get it? Watch it not do it. We already got $340. Would that be enough for a little bit of a morning? Times 5, that'd be $1,700 in a week. Maybe not enough to live on quite nicely, but it's above the median in the United States. There we go. We just got it. Now, I would put my stop above this swing right here, wouldn't you? That's your lightning swing, and I'd probably turn that on just in case. Now, let's see if we can just get this little trade. Just going for 15 ticks if we can get it. We don't know where the price is because lightning is not the pricing. It's kind of, where the prices have been, but where the prices are right now, we don't really know, okay? But all I'm doing is I'm trying to short resistance and try to go for 15 ticks. And once I get through with this little experiment, we will go ahead and talk about TNB entries because they're absolutely awesome to be able to use those TNB top and bottom. Let's go ahead and speed it up a little bit. See if we can get anything. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Let's see what it's going to do. Oh, look at that. It didn't take out our little lightning swing. And there we go. We just got 2 more profitable trades without even looking at a chart. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and turn this into an actual chart and see what it looks like. Bear with me a second. I'm going to get rid of Object Trader's little region, and we'll just turn this into a chart. We'll go ahead and put it on CL. I always keep a template on CL for the day. And then let's see what the chart looks like and see how we fared on those trades with the real pricing. Hopefully Ninja doesn't go into a non-responding type deal on me. Well, look at that. Now let's see where we were here real quick. I'm going to slow this down because this is heading down nicely. And I'll tell you where the next trade is. I can already see it. Can y'all? Anybody in the room, can you see the next trade? Well, you're already in a thrust, so you're going to have to wait for a retrace now. But didn't we get some pretty nice trades on that? And how did we do it? Look at this. It broke down below the a priori swing at 75. What did it do? It came back and kissed it. See it right there? And it took it on down. Now, it's already tested 75, so where do you think it's going to test next? How about right there? Could you have Object Trader ready to go in that situation? Well, let's find out. We've got the actual prices on the chart, and we'll see. And then I'll go back into teaching the TNB button. I want to just see if this actually works because this broke down, came back up, didn't test this again because it already tested it right here, looking to the left to trade the right. So you got to wait for a thrust. It's going to come back and do a check. Mid-band is kind of following it right now. And I'm going to simply put a region up there We're still only looking for shorts, right? I'll go ahead and give it at least a 3. And then we'll just simply wait and see if it'll come back up there and kiss that. We don't know if it will, but it broke down there, so it should. Shouldn't it? Still thrusting so far. Now you could also draw another line, because I do see another trade that right across here that made another a priori swing, but it's already tested that one. See that on your micro? And that's your mid band. That's the one you're really looking for. So let's see if we can get one of those. And then we're going to talk in depth about TNB buttons on here. Let's see, we got short plus 3. Didn't quite, it came to that little micro right there so far is all. But we're still in a thrust, so we're waiting on a retracement. Okay? Don't go getting into thrust trades. They'll eat your lunch. Let's see, with your settings, would it have to go to the top of the box? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about, Dan, because the TNB button is really important on how you set it up personally. Look at that, right on the mid-band, by the way. See it? Mid-band finally got there. So you got a little trade here, if it comes back up there, right? And you've got a trade setting up right here. It's never tested it, not after a thrust. So it's going to go between those two lines and more than likely give you a trade. That's the kind of trades we call in the room every day. Let's see if it does. Not sure, but it may just break down. If it does, we'll have to wait for another retracement. It looks like we're going to have to wait for another retracement. That's okay. We'll finally get us a trade. I can promise you that. I got this on extremely quick and everything right now, so let's see if we can get a retracement trade. I'm not really worried about that thrust trade. I'll show you how good you can use Object Trader for retracement trades. And there's 55 and there's 61. And by the way, you don't have to just take it blindly like this to begin with. You can box it in also, and that's what we're going to show with these TNB buttons here, because you can actually box this in. Let's see if we can get it. How many times have you taken a retracement or a thrust trade and then it does this garbage to you right here? This is exactly what they're always in the market to do to you. And we just missed that one. That's okay. We would want to box this in, wouldn't we? Well, I wouldn't want to take it personally unless it took out support right under here. You know, just boxing in above mid-band, you got to be really careful with. See, you've got a 1, 2, 3. That's an ABC Gartley so far. See if we can get something. There's your support right there where I drew my line. Now, truthfully, I would probably do this, but with a market order. Yeah, it's too late though. See where it bounced off my support? That's actually doing a little bit of a trend change as far as the little micro trend. Now, as far as the trend we're looking at though, it's still to the short side. But you can take those scalps like that. I started to grab that, but I had it moving too quick. See if we can get us a trade. Just going to wait for it to come back and kiss that ellipse. See, that ellipse is even telling us where the trade is now. I would probably now go ahead and do this just in case, where if it does take out that, just in case we're not going to get up here, we could break down below mid-band. So we'll go ahead and leave it short outside, touch plus 3, short inside, touch plus 3, and then I'm going to explain how to use these. Look at there. Just got your kiss of 61. By the way, anybody remember that particular trade right there that was shown in the room this morning. Matter of fact, I do believe Walter got it and several of our other people got this particular trade. What trade is that, by the way? That's Phantom trade, right? And we're expecting it to come down to mid-band. Now, if it blows up through here, we're going to be swapping horses because you've got these a priori swings that are here. That's your last one to the, see where you have a high, low, lower high, lower low, and then you still got a lower high again right here. And there you got you another trade, by the way. Okay, double topped and a phantom, by the way. Beautiful double top and phantom. All right, let's go to another chart because I want to show you how to use the T and B buttons. Bear with me a second. I've got a little chart hopefully ready for you. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, now we're going to talk about the top and bottom buttons. T and B simply means top and bottom. Okay, it's not rocket science at all. But it does matter how big your box is, how small your box is, because when this is talking about long out, short out, for instance, or long inside, short inside, they're totally different, right? And I'm going to show you which one is which, because a lot of people just use close and break out of boxes, but you can really utilize this thing pretty nicely. Okay? Now, right here on this chart, I've got 4 arrows drawn on long and 4 arrows drawn on short, and they're pretty accurate because I've got them with a 4-tick offset. We will assume a 4-tick offset on this particular box. Okay? Now, what I want to do is I'm going to go to each one of these arrows, and then I want the team to go ahead and tell me which button this would be and what it would be set at. And I'll know how much I need to teach tonight. Anybody? Let's start with this button. This button right here. Looking at the T and B, that means top of the box, bottom of the box. That also means top of the time trade. It also means top of the sniper if you happen to have 2 lines. And it means top of the ray if you have a channel. Right, exactly. There you go. I got some people that already got it. This particular one right here would be short outside. Now, if this was set like this, short outside and 4 ticks and touch, that's exactly what that's set at right there. That would mean that if this would have gone up 4 ticks out of that box and then rolled over, it would actually fire that trade the moment it hit the 4 and rolled back 1. Okay? Now, where's the other short outside? We've done the top. Where's the next one? Dan, on your question, it does have to roll back. The reason for that is because what if you set a short on this and then this just did bar up, bar up, bar up, bar up, bar up, and just kept going? You don't want to short that. But if it actually comes to 4 ticks, the way this is set right now, that is, I'm just talking about the particular offset that's set on it, because this offset can be set for anything you want. You can set it for 10 ticks if you wanted to. Okay? You can do this offset at anything you want, and it will fire it accordingly. Okay, so this is a short outside, which means if I had a region drawn and I wanted to see if it would break a little bit and then roll over, I could go ahead and get that. Okay? Now I can always, fire a market order if I see something happen and I didn't get triggered or something like that. This is more to set the boxes up like I was showing you just a minute ago. So it's the top of the box plus 4 ticks and short if it rolled back 1 tick. That's correct. So in other words, let's say that this price was actually coming up out of the box like so, and it just kept going. This would never fire. But if this comes to within 4 ticks of the top of that box with that touch outside short, then that would fire as soon as it hit 4 ticks, right? And then as soon as it tipped back 1 tick, that would fire that short right there. That's your outside of a box, short outside. Now the most common one you're going to use on a box is usually going to be your inside short, because let's say, for instance, I had a big range going on like this. Okay, I'd probably want to use this trade short inside because, you know, let's say that the prices have been all along in here for about the last 2 hours, okay? And all of a sudden I'm wanting to get it again if it hits resistance, but what if it just barely misses it? Well, then that's what that short inside's for. With this offset right here, short inside would fire 4 ticks inside the box, but only if it came up to it and rolled over. Or if you happen to have had the box drawn and the prices were up here, it would also fire it as it came down through it. Okay? So we've got a short outside. What would this arrow be called? And what would I set my button at? The ray is the same, and I'll go over that too, Dan. The reason I wanted to do this tonight, because, you know, a lot of times in the room and things like that, we don't have time to go over any kind of teachings like this. They're in our webinars, of course, but this is important stuff to know because do you always just want to take a short, you know, or a long? If it closes outside the box, you don't have to. You can use touch. You can use touch just period. If you use no offset, that means it should fire the second that it comes back down through the box, and vice versa when it comes down through the box. But usually you want to use a touch plus. I don't really like to ever use just touch because I find that the touch plus is a lot more accurate to fire that trade. Okay, even a touch plus 1. All that would mean is that this arrow would come down within 1 tick of the top of that box, and this arrow would go up within 1 tick if I had it set like that. See, this would be short outside, and this would be short inside. I'll go ahead and put it there. All right. Now that's the top of our box. Okay, that's the T button, and that's the B button at the bottom here. So the top of the box, we've already covered the short at the top outside and the short inside. Let's see, if you want to set a line to be long above and short below, how would you set that? I.e. to stay long above and S below and reverse if the line is crossed. I'll go over that too, Dan. That's a good point. Now, remember, with the reverse button, you have to be in a trade first. If you ever turn this button on and set a box, it will never fire because it can't reverse something it's not in. Okay? So you have to leave that off, and then, of course, you know, actually fire a trade. Then you can turn on your reverse if it happens to go back through your box the other way. These are very important, though. I mean, you can be short at the top, short through the bottom, right? Any way you want, okay? But this can also be this side of the coin, too. What if I want to take a long outside the box by, let's just go back to our 4 ticks. Which arrow would that be? We're talking about long outside the box, long enabled, long outside, turn this one off even. That simply says long enabled, long outside the box, touch plus 4. That means it would fire 4 ticks above that box. Okay? If it came within 3 and rolled over, it'd never fire. If it shot up through here and actually went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it would fire. Okay? If it just touched the top of the box and rolled over, that would never fire. Where if you had Chart Trader or something on, you would fire a trade. You don't always want to fire a trade just because you box in something. There's times that it'll go the other direction. And with our software, it catches it. Okay? So what is this arrow representing over here? And I've already showed you. Long outside. So this would be this trade. So obviously, wouldn't the top of the box, this be the other one that's long inside? Which means, let's say that your prices were going like this, and it all of a sudden went inside the box by 4 and then peaked up. That's that trade. Or that's this trade. What if it's just coming up and hits here and then keeps going? It'll fire. So that's long inside like that. That would be this right here. Okay? Now that covers the top of the box, right? That's your T button right there. Okay? Doesn't mean you have to go long out of the top of a box or long inside the box. You can go short at the top of a box because you can use this box as resistance. You can use it as resistance that gets broken to go long. Okay? These buttons up here we designed on purpose to be able to take a trade outside the box, inside the box, any manner of setting that you want. Touch +1, touch +2. I haven't gone over close, but close, keep in mind, what if it closed 2 ticks from the top of this box and you had this set for close +4? I want to show you what you could get into. All right, let's just let's say that we have this set for close +4 long outside. That would mean that what if, let me copy this just real quick, this little arrow, because I want to show you what it would look like. We'll go ahead and paste it. Okay, what if we had this set for close +4, but it happened to close 2 ticks from the top of that box? Well, then guess what? You'd have to have another 4 ticks to close. That would be your close bar, and then another 4 ticks to enter the trade would be way up here. That's why close is so important to not really do a lot of offset on. And close, even just close period, can even get you closed above the box, because what happens if you set close and this bar closes inside the box and you've got it set for outside +4 or even +2, then this bar would have to actually close above the box, and then 2 ticks would have to transpire after that for the algorithm to fire. Okay, so you want to be careful, you know, even using close. A lot of times when I'm watching a box and I see something happen that I don't like my bar closes inside, and I don't want it to go ahead and close all the way back out plus ticks, I just go ahead and hit market order and then hit enter and turn off my box. Or just do this and turns off your box too. Okay? Or you may even want to add, you know, sometimes you can just start with 1. Does anybody have any questions thus far on the top of the box? Because this is just strictly talking right now about a region. Okay, a region is simply a box. And however big you draw it will make the difference. The top of the box is the T, the bottom of the box is the B. It doesn't matter if this thing's 50 ticks here. If you had the bottom set down here and you had this set for short outside, for instance, it would have to come all the way under the box, right? If you had the box shorter like this, of course, it would do it right here instead. It just depends on where you've got your box set. And this is dynamic too, so you can actually move this box anytime you want. Okay? Let's see, do each of the settings require the rollover by 1 tick? Yes, or roll up by 1 tick on a long. The reason we put that in there, Dan, on your question, because the times, for instance, that let's say that you had a channel going and you think it's short, but you know, and you build a box, and let's say all of a sudden it just blows up through it. Well, you don't want to fire that short like you would with Chart Trader. Okay, and if it blows through the top of that box and never ticks back down, then it won't fire that trade. I've been saved several times by that feature. It's a good feature. I'd like to even get it to where we had a little box here that says how many ticks do I want it to roll before I actually get the trade. You know, right now it's defaulted to 1, but I'd like to have a little box here that says, you know, maybe I want 2 or 3. Maybe I want to confirm that it's actually heading my direction. But the more you confirm, the more you got to get your stop looser. Okay? Now we've already gone over the top of the box, so let's go over the bottom of the box now. Okay, because it's exactly the same except the opposite. Okay? This arrow right here, if this was set for 4 ticks, turn this off for a minute because we're just going to look at the short for right now. Bottom of the box only, that's the B. If this was set for short outside touch +4, that means this would fire after it broke the box by 4 ticks, as long as you got a tick to confirm it. So let's say it did 3 ticks, went back in the box, rolled over and hit the 4, it would fire. Okay? The moment it gets that 4, the market order goes in as soon as that extra tick goes in. If you don't want to wait for 5 full ticks, just simply set it for a little different. That's actually technically 3 ticks. That's actually technically 4. That's actually technically 5. Okay, because for instance, if it has to do short outside touch plus 4, that means that until that 5th tick is hit, it won't fire. Okay, I can even go over some of this with you in sim mode so you get it in real time, and I can control the pricing. If y'all want to do that, I'll do that. Okay, so this trade that I'm talking about right here, short outside, is this arrow right here. And all you got to do is you got to remember inside the box, outside the box. That's all there is to it. So that's a short outside, touch plus 4. This would be this one right here. Conversely, this would be this one here, which meant that it would just have to, let's say the price was coming down through it, it would have to hit 4 ticks plus 1 to fire. Or if it happened to, bounce up even, or say come up, let's say the prices were down here and it came up and then rolled over at 4 ticks, it would also fire it. So it can come down and fire it, or it can come up and then roll and fire it too. Okay, so that's your buttons on your short side. And this is just simply how you set them. You've got, the way we had our programmer do this, you got a long inside, long outside, short inside, short outside, inactive. Inactive just means it won't do anything. Long inside, long outside, short outside, inactive. Same on this one. Long inside, long outside, short outside, inactive. If those are ever set to inactive, it doesn't matter what these are set at, and it will never fire a trade because it has to know what the T button or the B button is set for. Okay, now let's go over this real quick, and then I'm going to go into some sim and show you how it actually does this. Bear with me a second, some questions coming in. So if it's moving up, it will pass the short inside and only fire on the way back down, correct? Yeah, and like I said, I'm going to add a button to this thing very shortly that will let you as the trader choose, because 1 tick can be a fake sometimes. But what if you set that for like 2 ticks or 3 ticks? In other words, if it hits 4, let's say you had it set for this right here, short inside, and let's say that it came up and hit 4, and you don't want it if it just rolls over 1, we'll have it with a button where you'll be able to choose it if you want. Okay? Object Trader is a pretty cool tool. You just got to know how to use it. And I didn't want to get it complicated to use, but I also wanted it to be at least something that all traders could use. Okay, so let's look at this side of it. Bottom of the button, we've already done the T button, so we're going to do the B button on the long side. So I'll show you the trades. Long enabled, long inside simply means if this was set at touch plus 4, let's say that this came down like this, within 4 ticks, ticked back up, it'll fire right there on that long inside. Just got to remember inside the box, outside the box. Long outside would be this one. If the price was going up through this and even came to within 4 ticks of this box, it would fire the trade. Okay? Or it would do it if it came down within 4, like this, and then ticked back up. That's all it takes. Now let me show you on a little sim data how this works. We're not going to go as much over trades tonight because this whole webinar is actually about T and B buttons, and I want you to be real familiar with how they work. So bear with me just 1 second. I'm going to kill the market replay connection. I got to get rid of a position first. Let me go ahead and kill it. And then I'm going to get rid of the connection. And we'll go to sim data that I can control because I want to show you how the box works. Bear with it just a second. Loading, hopefully. Don't do it, Ninja. Come on. Still loading. I think I'm loading about 7 days, so it should take a second. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take predictor off, and we're going to play with this thing just a little bit right now. All right, notice that I've got it in sim mode, so we're going to manipulate the data because I want you to see how this actually fires. Okay, we'll put it replay 101. Whoop, got to turn it on. Oh wait, that'll be sim, sorry, not replay. That'd be sim right there. Okay. This is my MB trading account right here that I've got this computer on. All right, so we're going to draw a box, and I'm going to show you how this works. Let's say, for instance, you knew that support was right here. Okay, and let's say that you wanted to fire a trade. If it comes down here within, say, 3 ticks of the bottom of that box. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll turn the box on, and then I'm going to manipulate the data so you can see it. Now when this comes down within 3 ticks of this, and by the way, we can go ahead and check that. The bottom of the box is at 98, so by 01, it should actually fire that trade if it ticks back up. Okay, so I'm going to let it come down a little bit closer to mid-band, and then I'm going to turn it back up. It's got to get to mid-band. And watch, it'll fire actually inside the box because that's the way I've got it set. Let's see, we're within 3 ticks, 98 to 01, 3 ticks. We can even do it with 4 if you want to. Let's see if we can get that. I think we came just almost to it, but not quite. So I'm within 4 ticks. So it's got to get within those 4 ticks, right? So it's really close right now. That looks like 4 to me, or really close to it. Now that's at the bottom of the box, and it shouldn't fire. And I may have to restart. There it goes. All right, see there? That's within 98 to 03. So that's 5 ticks. See, it had to get that confirmation tick. Okay. Now I can re-manipulate this box, by the way, and if I wanted to add to this, all I'd have to do is turn that off, right? And if I wanted to add, I can simply do something like that. Takes out the top of the box plus 4 ticks, it will fire. Now watch, I'm going to manipulate a little bit and show you that it won't fire until it gets to those 4 ticks. Now watch, it's not going to fire. That's where you get a lot of those head fakes, right? But watch it fire as it comes back through it by 4 ticks. See, because it only took it out by 2 and we've got it set for 4. I can even do this live like this even as I'm looking at the chart. Before this trade fires, I can even do this dynamically. I can change all this any way I want to. So if that comes 2 ticks now above this box, plus a 3rd tick to confirm it, it should fire 3 contracts. Okay, and I move my target on my 1. My next targets will be 10, 15, and 20. Okay, that's 1 tick. There you go. There's 4 contracts now, right? By simply letting it do outside the box. Okay? That's your outside trade and that's your inside trade right there. Now, what if this still looks like a down chart to me? What if I wanted to actually short this if it goes back inside the box by, say, 3 ticks? I can even hit reverse as long as I'm in a trade. This should reverse me 3 contracts, if it comes 4 ticks inside that box right there, you'll watch it reverse from long to short. Like I say, the beauty of this is that it's dynamic and you can do all this right while you're, literally trading live on your charts. What if I wanted to add one as it comes through the bottom, add some, touch plus, say 2, and get my target out of the way? This is breaking down. If it breaks this box, what if I wanted to add some? Touch plus 2, short outside, would simply be 2 ticks, and there you go. You just added 3 more contracts. See, that's how you can utilize this little trader in your everyday trading, because you control it. You just got to know where to get in, and that's the purpose of all of our webinars, is showing where these resistance, kisses are and things like that. Okay? Now, probably won't have time to go over every feature of this, because I planned on actually showing the ray and some things like that. This is just the region. We've got the time trade, we've got the sniper, and we've got the ray. Okay? Now, by judging what I showed that chart just a few minutes ago, did I get rid of all that stuff that was on it? Might have. Let me see if I've still got that. Probably got rid of it. I was going to show some of the stuff. Yeah, it's all gone. Anyway, that's no big deal. All right. Does everybody see how to use this box? Now, when you get into a trade, you can immediately hit enter. That box will turn gray again, and it's ready to use again, by the way. What if this came right back up here, like so? I'm already down at a double bottom, for instance. What if I set this for long inside, short inside? See, something like that? And what if this came down and even reverse it, by the way, because that's a double bottom? I can even do that. If this comes down within 2 ticks of the bottom of that box and reverses, it will actually fire the trade. Now, like I say, we're manipulating price, so you got to be good at this while it's really live trading and everything. And that should actually reverse my trade. Another tick, maybe 2. And there you go. See there? And by the way, you can even use it, for instance, a scalp. We know when it bounces off of a double bottom, it's going to come back where it broke down, right? That's why you can utilize these boxes to trade, because you could simply get out of a trade and be ready to take another one, the opposite direction if you want. Object Trader is designed for this type of thing. When we draw in the room and say, if it retraces up to so-and-so, we're boxing it in. Well, those are usually just your little breakout trades, but I'm showing you the more detailed effect that you can do with Object Trader. See, for instance, we're short inside touch plus 2, and if this was to hit resistance right up there at the top of that box, within 2 ticks, it would obviously fire. But did you know you can even manipulate it in real time? What if it got within 3 ticks but rolled over instead, and we never got the trade? This may already get it, but let's see if it did. If it didn't, guess what I can actually do in real time? Just set that for like 5 instead, and it'll fire. See there? Because I got to my resistance, but it didn't trigger. You see what I mean? I missed it because I didn't have it set correctly. See, they don't always come to exactly where they broke down. I did that on purpose to show you that lots of times when we draw those boxes, they can miss them by a tick. And with this, you can just simply manipulate that in real time and actually still fire the trade. Because this will fire. Let me just kill this trade for a second. I'll show you how this thing can do. I'm just going to go ahead and do like a touch plus like even 12 out of this box. Not that you would do this, believe me. But I want to show you that this will not fire here. It'll not fire on the next bar. It'll not even fire till the next bar because I've got it set for touch plus 12. Now, I'm not saying to trade that way. I'm just showing you that the way this algorithm works on this, it knows where that box is. It knows it's broken it, and it knows that I've got it set for touch plus 12. And like I said, you're not going to trade that way, but I just want to show you that it will fire that trade. As soon as it gets 12 ticks from the bottom of that box, watch. We're at 77, so we need to get down to, there you go. See there? It's a pretty cool little trader. You can absolutely do it on the fly, okay? Anything you want to do, you can do on the fly before it gets in a trade. You can manipulate this touch plus, you can change it to a close plus, you can do anything you want with it, okay? Let's see, so it's moving up, it will pass the short inside and only fire on the way back down. Well, it depends what you got it set on, Taylor, on your question. You know, for instance, let's say that you were looking at this trade that's coming up. And like I say, we're just manipulating data right now. So obviously, this could be a trade right here, right? When they come up and kiss resistance. And of course, you'd set this for like touch plus like 2, maybe 3. Touch short, and then just turn on your box. So when that gets within 2 ticks of the top of that box, before it ever touches the top, if it rolls over, it will fire that trade. And I'll show you, I'll just manipulate the data. And then I'm going to go to some real data and show you some trades if we've got time. I think we've got about 10 minutes. See where that's just within a tick of the top of that box? There's your fire. See how it came right to the resistance and fired. Okay? Now I want in the future to where I can also do this. I want to be able to do array on my chart and fire again where it'll automatically sell like 3 more. You see what I mean? I want to be able to use a box and array at the same time. Now right now you can obviously just draw array, and if it breaks it you can sell 3 more if you want to or whatever. You know, but I'm going to get it to where it'll actually do it. Now you notice when it gets in a trade, it always turns these off. That's very important because you don't want this thing still active, right? You've already got your trade. It was way up here. So when the trade fires, these automatically turn off. Now, if you were long and short, you know, like a box, the one will turn off and the one will stay on. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's say, let's just do where it's normal. This is the normal default on Object Trader right here. So let's kill this for a second. If this was to fire short right here, okay, you'll notice when it comes 2 ticks below the box, it'll fire. Should be right in through here. There's 1 tick. There's 2, and there's confirmation. Okay, so it fired the trade, right? Okay, but notice that the long stayed on. Okay, so if I manipulate this box, and you know what, if this was to actually take out like this resistance and I wanted to go up, I could still leave this on and even turn it on, and this would be a long trade outside the box. Now I'm not saying that this would work, I'm just saying this still left this one on. It only turns off the one you're using. Now if you're only using one of them, like short on both or long on both, then obviously it'll turn the one off. Okay? Give me just a second and we'll go back to some of those trades because I want to show you how Object Trader works in real time. Bear with me 1 second. Just got a few more minutes. Kill this trade first. And disconnect simulated. And then we'll go back to our market replay. And I'll just pick an area. Bear with it just a second. I'm loading market replay right now. Hopefully it'll load. Yeah, Dan, on your question now, Object Trader, I didn't go over some of those features like that, but yes, Object Trader, you hit insert to put the inactive box on your chart, and you hit enter to actually activate the chart. Okay, let's go ahead and do some trading on today. We opened that room. I want to show you how you can utilize Object Trader to trade. And I'm going to go ahead and kill some of these other charts so that Bear with me a second. That way we're not trying to load 10 charts. Still trying to load some, just a second. Come on, Object Trader and Market Replay. There we go, got one chart, good deal. All right, I got it down to one. Now I'm going to go to the time we traded it, which was this morning when I called that trade. Okay, and bear with me just a second, we'll have it. Market Replay is a little on the slow side, just take a second. See, one of the things that Object Trader was designed around, though, was obviously so everybody could really get the most use out of it. And like I say, it's a pretty cool tool. You know, a lot of our traders saw some things that they wanted in it. We added those things. And as soon as this silly chart loads, if it loads, all right, almost there. Sometimes with Market Replay, you got to restart a chart. So I'm just going to build another one. Just take a second. Market Replay is really strange about that. I don't know what it is. Even my programmer doesn't know what causes that. Okay, remember that trade we were talking about earlier? I guess I got to the same area again. But when you draw on your charts, always look at these areas that are these a priori swings that are caused by these numbers. They're really important. Okay, see, it's already been to that when you got your nice little trade, right? But where's your trade actually on this chart? Well, look at that ellipse right there. So couldn't you, as a trader, go ahead and have Object Trader ready to go? Use your region. What's the direction of the trend? Well, obviously, right? Turn that off. Turn that on. And we're going to try to get a trade right up in here, right? And look at Phantom right there. You can even bring it all the way to Phantom, okay? And what you could do, though, you could say, well, you know what? I want it right here, but it may even fire right here or even here. So you could always just simply do like even say a touch +4, and you know your swing's right across here. So that's your lightning, right? So if it takes that out, it's no longer heading down. Everybody see that? See that swing? So if we get a lower high here, wouldn't that be a good short? And that's exactly the trade that we talked about this morning on this chart, by the way. I evidently put it right back where we started trading this morning. So I'll go ahead and do this trade so you can see it. We're just simply not a breakout trader. We're going to look for a retracement trade. And some of our people, by the way, caught that exact trade at 63, and I caught it at 64. And you can do it with Object Trader, or you can see it with your eyes either way. I mean, we designed Object Trader so you could be even looking at other charts, and it would still fire. Now, I would see this as being a swing right here. So if I was going to take a breakout, I would definitely want to take this swing out. So you can turn this off, back on, turn it on, turn this on, like that, just in case it decides to break lightning, because that could be a good trade. That's boxing it in. And we want to do a couple, 3 contracts anyway. One of the main things is, you know, don't go getting into thrust type trades. Wait for them to come to you, or at least if you can box them in, okay? Because boxing in a trade is extremely important, okay? What if you missed that trade right there? Do you see another area that you could absolutely box in? Matter of fact, it's breaking it right now. What if you missed that? Let's just pretend we missed the trade. You see a swing right here? Could you box it? Let's try it. We'll box it right underneath midband. That's a little lightning swing. See the support here? Thrust up, that's support. This is support even right under here. What if you just wanted to short this? You could do that with Object Trader too. Keep in mind that my stop's going to have to be a lot looser, but that's the swing. Could I do that? Could I even do this? Turn this off dynamically. And if this decides to break this swing, maybe I want to go ahead and take a long. It's right at the open. That's my lightning swing. If it did thrust up above it, I'd have to put my stop at least near midband, depending on where lightning shows up here in a minute. Everybody see that? Now, I would probably be doing this. I see it breaking here, so I would be doing this. I'd sell one, get my target out of the way. I see another swing right here. See it? Right here, underneath midband. Watch and see if we can't get a sell just manually on this one. Wouldn't a boxing in here? Remember I showed you this trade this morning. I got this at 64 because I was watching my charts. But what if you want, only if it breaks this swing. Let's draw lightning. Let's see. Where's the next swing? Well, there's a high, there's a low, there's a higher high. That's a swing right there, isn't it? See? So couldn't I be ready to take that even manually and still get this trade down here if I wanted to? Just get ready to sell it if it takes out that line. See if it will. Not yet. It's right at it. Stop's going to be above the swing, right? The only thing about getting in late on stuff is you got to still have your stop where I had mine earlier. I got in at 64 and I showed it this morning in the room. My stop was above 70 because of the swing right here. Okay? What if we want to take this trade anyway, though? We can. Let's say we want to do 3 more if it takes out that swing. That's a lightning swing. Thrust, retrace, thrust. Lightning swing. That's more of a secondary swing. See if we can get it. Touch plus 4. Let's do touch plus 2 on this little break. Watch it add 3. See there? Got 5. Now my stop would be right there. Everybody see how to use Object Trader though? Does anybody have any questions about T and B buttons? Because they will make a world of difference in your trading. You don't have to use close outside of region, and you don't have to use, close plus or anything like that. You can set this the way you want it. Let's see, Walter says, makes me really appreciate Viper when I get junk email that claims their trading room program wins 9 out of 10 days. I just laugh because Viper wins 10 out of 10. All right. Well, 9 out of 10 is still pretty good, though. All right. Anybody have any final questions before we wrap her up? By the way, real quick, I want to show you something because I called this trade in the room this morning. Looking at this chart right here, where is your identified swing on this chart? Anybody see it? Right there? Is that your identified swing? You want to see if it'll work? We called the trade in the room. Let's get rid of these lines. We don't need them. That's my identified swing right there. I do have a little bit of resistance right here too, though, so I could wait for it to take that out if I wanted to, right? But if I do that, it's going to be a thrust and a pullback. So I'm going to try to buy lightning instead. See my lightning swing? This is my micro. That's my secondary. And let's just see if we can get something on there. Still heading down so far, though. But if it breaks lightning swing, what do you think? Could we possibly take it? Let's see, if you want to set a line to be long above and short below, how would you set that to stay L above and S below? Well, Dan, you could actually use the region that I just used, or you could use Sniper. And I think what I'll do is I'll wait till next week and we'll talk about Sniper. There's your swing. Didn't get it yet. If it hits 3 ticks out of it, it will. There you go. Move your target right there to swing. And I'm going to put my stop underneath lightning. Everybody see why on that? Because if this is going to truly head up, what's the definition of a trend up? It's got to get higher lows and higher highs, even on my micro trend. Okay? So that leaves me safely right under here, doesn't it? Now it could be under, well, I'd put it here. Everybody see that? Now let me ask you a quick question. Does anybody see the next trade on the chart? And then I am going to definitely wrap, because you got to be able to see the next trade on your chart. I'm going to get rid of all lines, even lightning, and I want y'all to tell me where the next trade is on the chart. I'll just take this up just like this. And I think some of our people are going to get it, because you can clearly see it. What have we been talking about all night long? Look at your lightning swings. Right there, draw a line. Watch and see if it gets near it. We called this trade too. Now I've got this going 500 times, so we may not get it as far as nailing the trade, but that's it right there. See it? Everybody see it? See there? Didn't it come down and kiss right where it broke out? Now, let me ask you a question. Could you trade something like this? Absolutely, because we got this trade this morning. This was a monster long. And did I draw that in real time to show it? We drew that in the room this morning even. It doesn't always come to the exact tick. That's why it's so important to use Object Trader. Because see, if you were waiting for that with Chart Trader, you may have missed that trade. You got to fade it. See, that came to 48.10 and that swings at 48.07. But couldn't you have also gotten it here? Absolutely. Couldn't you have gotten it here? Absolutely. Couldn't you have gotten it here? Even? Absolutely. Right? So where do you think the next trade is on the chart? You got to always look at your trade. Draw your lines. There's a line right there. That's a high, a low. Look at that. Coming right down. I'd be buying that actually. That's a phantom trade. Where would your target be? Fade the top. Everybody see why I bought that there? Because it's still an uptrend, isn't it? This is your high. This is your low. This is your higher high. This is a higher low. Now, could we have boxed it in? Absolutely, we could box it in. We could draw trend lines. That's what I'm going to talk about next week, is utilizing the other trades, because Object Trader has regions, raise, time trade, bar close, sniper. Okay? And we'll talk about those next time. I got this thing moving like a house afire at 500 times. Everybody enjoyed the webinar? Try to do more of them just like it so that we can all learn, because I even learn as I'm teaching. You would be surprised, even watching charts for thousands of hours all the time, where you can still learn some things, and it's pretty amazing. See that going right up there to that resistance right there? Just try to get you a trade. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great evening. Hope you enjoyed it, and it will be posted in about the next 15 minutes. I've already actually technically got it updated on the website. The video is just not there yet. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good one. See you in the morning. We're going to trade oil inventory. Bye everyone. Thanks.